I'm April Cummings, and you're watching the very first edition of Cayman Life. It is our first show, and each month we'll be exploring life and happenings in the Cayman Islands. So sometimes it's easy to take home for granted. We're about to make that extremely difficult for you to do. We begin this month's show with something we really didn't expect to find. We stopped in at Chapel Church of God on Walker's Road on a Sunday evening and discovered the sound of bluegrass in the air.
Now the maker of the world knows that I'll hear the rain. He's acquainted with sound.
You know he's acquainted with it.
Meet the Williamson branch, a family of 5 visiting the Cayman Islands and spreading their faith through their music.
He knows that I'll hear the rain.
They're the family who stay together, pray together, and play together.
But sometimes he rolls us and lets the thunder store the rain.
There's Debbie,
We are a bluegrass gospel band. A little bit of bluegrass, a lot of times gospel, and sometimes country.
Kevin,
We feel a call to wherever we go to bless people with our music.
17-year-old Melody,
And it's always good to see new faces and new people.
13-year-old Candace,
I currently play the U-bass. It's just a baritone ukulele with strung up like a bass.
and of course, Caroline.
I'm 6.5. I'm almost 7.
The family lives in Nashville, Tennessee. They perform anywhere and everywhere they can. It can be a lot of work, but it's work they feel called to do.
We believe that God has called us to do this as a family, and so we work really hard to keep that as our focus.
So the Lord opened up the mouth of the beast and he started to speak. And here's what he said. He said, "Stop it, stop it. Why are you weeping? Stop it, stop it. Am I not your best donkey?"
The performance is designed to be fun, and as we get to know the family, we get to know their music.
And he saw the angel with the sword lifted high, high, high. And he saw the angel with the sword lifted high.
The girls have been playing one instrument or another practically since birth.
Music is such a huge part of me that I never imagined my life without it.
The fiddle, the mandolin, the guitar, and the banjo.
You're kidding.
In the art designed by God, round and silver love, round and silver love.
During their Cayman trip, they performed at schools and churches all over the island. An interesting experience and a chance to get to know people whose musical roots are more similar than most might expect.
Cayman is steeped in very much the same kind of traditional music that I grew up in. It just kind of took a different slant, you know, but it's largely fiddles and guitars and things like that, you know. So the roots are the same, but the slant of the Cayman music is a little bit different. So what I grew up on in the hills of East Kentucky and southern West Virginia is kind of what they would call a bluegrass music.
'Cause there's still
His daughter Melody certainly has enjoyed sharing the family's talent with people here.
Definitely a cool experience to be able to take it somewhere other than America where y'all's accents are a little different, we'll just say that.
The Williamsons actually have Cayman roots.
Both of my maternal grandparents, both of my mom's parents, are from Grand Cayman. They were born and raised here, and they got married here, and then they moved away and went to Tampa and had their kids, had their family.
This is the first time the girls have experienced Cayman.
It's been a lot of fun. I am really cold most of the time, so it was nice to go somewhere where that's not a problem, ever. And I'm definitely an aquatic person. I love to be in the water, and I love to see animals, and I've caught 2 iguanas since I've been here, and a lizard, and yeah, and I got to pet dolphins and kiss stingrays and turtles and stuff.
I went to this lovely little beach house thing on the beach, and it has a pool close by. All you have to do is walk down the steps and go through the little gate. There's the pool, and then you go out, and there's a little shower, and then a little spray, and then you go out, and then there's the beach and all the sand and stuff. I called it Shelly Beach because there's so much shells there.
We've had an awesome time just playing for the schools and the churches in the area, and yeah, just ministering and being wherever God's put us while we're here.
Cayman has certainly enjoyed them.
So for beauty and smiles, beauty and tears. Yes, look for beauty and smiles, and beauty and
The Williamsons don't know when they'll be back in Cayman again, but you can certainly count on seeing and hearing them again. As the first female clerk of the Legislative Assembly and the first Speaker of the House, Mrs. Sybil McLaughlin really blazed a trail in Cayman history. Well, now there's a new book that tells the story of this young Caymanian girl who became a national hero.
She's gonna sign it.
Surrounded by family, friends, and a new generation of fans, Cayman's national hero Sybil McLaughlin quietly signs copies of a book about her life.
Thank you so much for all you've done.
Ms. McLaughlin says there is a lot to be learned from the first Speaker of the House and the first female clerk of the Legislative Assembly.
To G-A-Y.
So many firsts that she did that, you know, I wasn't aware of, and I'm just amazed at what this, as I said, this little island girl from South Sound who ran around barefoot and went fishing and swimming and played with her aunt's chickens and grew up to have such an impact on these islands.
From developing the rules that govern Parliament today to insisting on the Hansard, a word-for-word transcript of what happens in the Legislative Assembly, Ms. McLaughlin certainly made her mark on Cayman.
That's my 6 granddaughters.
Another former House Speaker, Mary Lawrence, sees the book as an important part of Cayman's parliamentary history.
Everywhere in that parliament is Miss Sybil's handprint, you know, and I think it's fabulous that she has now put it in a book that generations to come will be able to read.
She is hoping the book will ensure a new generation learns of the contributions made by Ms. Sybil and her peers. She worries that too few know of those who built the country we all enjoy today.
Our young people need to know who our heroes are. I spend time telling my grandchildren about the people that have built this country. I think it's important for them to know this.
May I burden you with these?
Cayman's current Premier Alden McLaughlin agrees.
I hope the book finds its way into the hands of many of our people, our young people in particular, and into the schools, but also into the hands of people who come here or who have come here in more recent times, and help them get a better appreciation of the stuff on which Cayman has been built.
The book is called From Island Girl to National Hero and is available at local bookstores across the island. So we were in the BRAC recently and ran into Bernard Tibbetts, who has shared with us a book of stories he's compiled that really take us back to the old days.
Well, I guess the Lord put it in my heart to write these stories.
Bernard Tibbetts believed he was put on this earth to tell stories about the lives and experiences of people in the Cayman Islands.
I've been writing these stories for many years. In recent times, I've written many more. I have a total of something like 115 thus far. That book contains 35 of the earlier ones.
That book is Written Treasure, Volume 1.
One of the first stories in it was about a trip that Reverend King and I had from Little Cayman one night back in 1967. We used to travel between the islands many times without the aid of a compass, entirely by following a star at night. So before leaving Little Cayman, we selected a star to follow. While I was doing some other chores in the boat, Reverend King was steering, and when I went back to the front of the boat, I saw land ahead. So I said, "Is that Cayman Brack already?" He said, "I don't know, but it must be because we're making good speed." When I examined things carefully, I determined it was Little Cayman, and we were almost about to run up on a reef and be wrecked. That part of Little Cayman did not even have a road at the time. He was following the wrong star. So that gave me an idea for writing that story.
Illustrated by his granddaughters, his writing not only chronicles stories of Cayman's past, he says they also include what he calls a moral lesson.
All of the stories have an inspirational impact note at the end. As a Christian, I believe that we should help people to see beyond the problems of today. We need to be prepared for tomorrow.
While Volume 1 is mostly about events, Volume 2 is in the works, and it will be about people.
People that have played an important role in the lives of and history of the island should not be forgotten. I mean, there are many people that have played very important roles, and it would be pitiful if they're not remembered by someone. And while I'm still able to record some of that, I feel like it's a mission that I can fulfill and try to preserve it.
You can find Mr. Tibbets on Facebook quite a bit these days, where he's been sharing stories and collecting them for future work. So some of us can barely boil an egg, while others have a gift for creating delicious meals. On Cayman Life this month, we follow along on the search for Cayman's best amateur chef.
You okay?
I need you to be putting that in here.
Okay, Polenta.
It may not be the latest edition of Chopped, but it's certainly no kitchen nightmare.
Please grate the cheese.
As the sun goes down at Bon Vivant,
Not yet, not all of it.
the kitchen heats up.
Yeah, all those together.
Come on, hurry up. I need it to drop the temperature.
These are the Amateur Celebrity Cook-Off semifinals.
That's the polenta, yes.
Our distinguished judges,
I don't know, but
Alan Markoff, journalist and leader of the Slow Food Movement organization in Grand Cayman. Anthony Lawson, former contestant and now proud owner of the food truck Smokin' Bros.
I guess it depends how you look at it.
Along with Cody Bush.
Whoever cleans up the best.
what did you think about it?
Head chef of the Ritz-Carlton Grand Cayman, Chef Frederic.
Come on up.
And making it all happen, the lovely Cynthia Hugh, foodie and owner of Bon Vivant, who puts on the event in partnership with the Ritz-Carlton Grand Cayman.
We do it every year because it's a passion of ours. We love to be around like-minded people who are energized when it comes to inventing, new dishes, food, wine, and it really helps us bring together a group of people that are again, passionate about what we are passionate about, and allowing them to showcase their talents.
And now, the main event.
That's the polenta, yes.
Sonia Carlesso and her sous chef.
All right, stop.
Their competition, Travis Rich and his sous chef, Emily Hunter.
Guys, what time? Sorry.
The chefs have 60 minutes to prepare and plate their meals.
Then you need this.
They're judged on taste,
More than that.
use of local ingredients, originality, presentation, and timely execution.
It's too much.
As the clock counts down, it's clear one team is struggling to get their fish cooked in time.
This is the moment of truth, as you know.
The judges taste, savor, and of course judge.
Pretty good.
And even though the final verdict comes later, the feedback on the meal comes tonight.
Maybe a little bit more seasoned pepper, maybe because they're a little bit not so fresh, they didn't really pop in my mouth the way I was hoping the dish would. But overall, I really liked it.
It was scary, but it's not so scary when you're actually doing it, because you're actually concentrating on your dish and you're not thinking about anybody. Perhaps you should be thinking about the judges, but you're actually just focusing on your dish and getting it done on time.
It was definitely a lot of anticipation, a lot of preparation, and then ultimately a lot of execution. A lot of doing, a lot of running around, seeing to individual elements.
The one thing about food, yes, it brings us all together, regardless of whether or not you like to prepare it or you like to eat it, but there's always something that you can learn out of it, and it can be very humbling. And I think this competition has been that for a lot of the participants. The chefs, the judges rather, when they come out and give their criticisms, it is truly constructive criticism. And people take that and they harness that for an entire year. And I mean, for the last 6 years, people have come back every year to try their time again.
It was a heap of fun.
I cooked, I gave it what I had, and I'm proud of what I made.
Finalists will face off at the Bon Vivant Cook-Off Brunch on Sunday, the 19th of January. It's all part of the Cayman Cook-Off, hosted by celebrity chef Eric Repair. He'll help choose the winner along with Anthony Bourdain and Jose Andreas. It seems like almost every weekend in Cayman there is a fundraiser of one type or another. But this month's event at the National Gallery took things to a whole other level. The night descends, and with it comes the jester, the fire master, the acrobat, the clown. The strongman and the magicians, too, do their part to win and woo.
It's time to experience the night circus.
So we've got contortionists, we have magicians, we have live music, we have beautiful, like really great entertainment.
For just one night, it's black and white. The National Gallery transformed to delight.
It's amazing. There's so much going on. It's like you're really at a circus.
It's the biggest fundraiser of the year, and there's not a moment of disappointment here.
It's one of our main ways of making money to make sure our education programs can stay free for anybody that wants to get involved.
I invite you to look at the pavilion stage.
For patrons, this night is a grand success. Support of art plus fancy dress.
We have to raise about $500,000 every year, and that takes a lot of effort.
Enchanted, enraptured, and entertained, they eat and drink, the goal attained.
A lot of work this weekend, but all great fun.
With joy and merriment and smiles all around, it's the night the circus came to town. Just 2 days later, the gallery is transformed yet again, a return of the popular Now and Then exhibit. Thanks to events like the night circus and the funds raised, the gallery and its education programs are free to the public. That's our show for this month. Thanks so much for watching. Remember, you can see the segments and the show online at caymanlife.tv.